Module 1 – Introduction to Nutrition and Hydration. In its simplest terms, nutrition is the process of taking in food relevant to our dietary needs. Our bodies need nutrients for growth, cell repair and other metabolic processes, and it is important to be aware of the specific nutrients we need to include in our daily diets. Food provides a range of nutrients which are the sources of nourishment, and there are 7 nutrients that are particularly important in maintaining a healthy diet. These include proteins, carbohydrates, fats, fibre, water, vitamins and minerals, and can be broken down into 2 groups: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are needed in our body in large quantities and can be classified as either energy-yielding macronutrients or non-energy yielding. Micronutrients, also known as trace elements, are needed in smaller quantities and do not provide our bodies with energy, but they are still important for normal growth and development. Both macronutrients and micronutrients will be discussed in more detail in the following module. This course will also be looking at the importance of water and hydration, as well as how to avoid dehydration, tips on maintaining a balanced diet with reference to the Eat Well guide, and a look at malnutrition, as well as how the Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool, MUST, helps identify those at risk. The food you eat determines whether you are getting the right amount and combinations of nutrients, and it is believed that a balanced diet, along with exercise, is key to good health. It is important to remember that in terms of nutrition, diet is not the restriction of food with aims of weight loss or other goals. Rather, it is about maintaining proper nourishment through our food and fluid intake. No food contains the right amount of essential nutrients that we need to stay healthy, which is why our diets need to contain a variety of foods. Our bodies have a whole range of nutritional needs to function properly, and many diseases, conditions and medical problems can be prevented with the right diet plan. A poor diet not only leaves you drained of energy, but may also lead to malnutrition, obesity, type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, amongst other health problems. A healthy diet, on the other hand, provides us with the right amount of energy, maintains proper body functioning, and helps combat disease. A balanced diet is thus a combination of food and fluids that provide the essential nutrients needed by our body in order to function in the best way possible. So how do we know whether or not we have a balanced diet? The Eat Well guide is a helpful tool in determining this. The model splits our food into 5 main nutritional groups to help us make the right food choices. As mentioned previously, maintaining a balanced diet and the Eat Well guide will be discussed in our 3rd module. It is important to be able to make informed decisions when considering our nutritional requirements. The following module will be taking a look at the 7 basic nutrients we need to include in our diet, where they can be found, and the difference between macronutrients and micronutrients. Module 2 – Breakdown of nutrients. There are 7 nutrients in particular that we need to keep in mind when maintaining a balanced diet, namely proteins, carbohydrates, fats, fibre, water, vitamins and minerals. These nutrients are each responsible for different things, including providing us with energy, aiding our bodies with normal growth and development, and regulating body processes. The foods we eat determine the nutrients we receive, and, as previously mentioned, can be broken down into macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are nutrients that are required in large quantities in our diet. Micronutrients are only needed in small amounts. 5 of the 7 essential nutrients required in our diet are classified as macronutrients, and these can be further broken down into macronutrients that provide energy and those that do not. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, fibre and water are classified as macronutrients. The energy-providing macronutrients include carbohydrates, proteins and fats. We will look at carbohydrates first. Different foods contain different types of carbohydrates. There are different types of carbohydrate molecules, some simple and found in sugary foods such as cakes, biscuits and other junk food, others complex and found in fruits, vegetables and whole grain foods such as bread and pasta. Complex carbohydrates are favoured over the simple ones as they contain more nutrients and are more slowly absorbed, preventing spikes in blood sugar and keeping us fuller for longer. Proteins are responsible for providing our cells with the nutrients needed for growth, development and repair, and can be found in most animal and plant foods. These protein-containing foods are broken down into amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, which our cells use. It is interesting to distinguish between essential and non-essential amino acids. Non-essential means our body makes them itself, whereas essential means we need to get these amino acids from our food, as the body cannot make them. Lipids, more commonly known as fats, are the most energy-dense nutrients and contain more energy per gram than any other macronutrient. Fats can be broken down into unsaturated and saturated fats, the former known as healthy fats and found in vegetable oil, nuts and other plant-based products. The latter, the less healthy option, are found in things such as butter. The macronutrients that do not provide energy but are still an essential part of our diet include fibre and water. Fibre consists mainly of carbohydrates, but our body does not easily absorb this nutrient and thus it does not provide us with energy. Fibre is, however, a critical part of nutrition as it assists with digestion. Water is also classified as a non-energy providing macronutrient, but may sometimes be placed in its own category, which we'll be discussing in the following module. Micronutrients do not provide us with energy, but we still need them in small amounts to assist with the normal growth and development of our cells. Micronutrients include minerals and vitamins and play an important part in human nutrition, with each vitamin and mineral having specific roles in bodily functions. With a well-balanced diet, you'll get most of the necessary minerals and vitamins through food, though sometimes you may need to take additional supplements. Whole grains, lean proteins, fruit, vegetables, legumes and healthy fats are all good sources of vitamins and minerals and are the best way of ensuring your body gets what it needs. In the following module, we will be looking at the classification and importance of water, how to include water in our diet, and how to avoid dehydration. Module 3. The importance of water and hydration. Our bodies need water to survive, which is why hydration is such an important topic. Drinking water serves many purposes in our body, including regulating our body temperature and metabolism, the removal of waste products, and lubrication of our joints. When we are deprived of water, our body starts to shut down, which is why we may feel faint, dizzy, or even lose consciousness when dehydrated. As mentioned in our previous module, water may be classified as a non-energy providing macronutrient because we need it in such large quantities, but sometimes it is placed in its own category because of the fact that it is a single substance, unlike other nutrients. More than half our body is made up of water, but we lose large amounts through sweat, urination and evaporation. If our water intake is not consistent throughout the day, this may lead to dehydration. Many people find it difficult to stay hydrated. If you struggle to drink even 2 glasses of water a day, the recommended amount of 8 glasses may seem impossible. The good news is that there are many other ways to up your water intake. Water can be found in almost all liquids, including fruit juice, milk, tea, coffee and soda. Contrary to what many people think, soda and coffee aren't actually all that dehydrating compared to the amount of fluid they contain. Their diuretic effect is minimal. The only fluid to stay away from when looking to maintain hydration is alcohol, particularly stronger alcoholic drinks, as they tend to pull water from the body, leading to dehydration. Water can also be found in food, and surprisingly, food is actually responsible for up to 20% of our daily fluid intake. Some foods contain more liquid than others. Fresh fruits and vegetables, soups and yogurts are all good sources. The amount of water we need varies from person to person, but generally at least 1.2 litres of fluid per day is sufficient, whether this be obtained through food or liquids. When it comes to drinking water, don't set unattainable goals, as this will just discourage you. Look at your personal preferences and lifestyle and then implement changes accordingly. Some people are at a higher risk than others in terms of dehydration, including athletes or anyone doing high-intensity exercise, those with medical conditions such as kidney stones or bladder infections, those who are sick, pregnant, breastfeeding, as well as the elderly. It is important to keep an eye on older adults, as they are particularly susceptible to dehydration. As we get older, our brains are less likely to sense thirst, and our body also struggles to maintain fluid balance. Recognising symptoms of dehydration is important, and some of the signs may include dry lips, mouth and skin, decreased and darker urine, sleepiness, dizziness, headaches and extreme thirst. But don't wait until you notice these symptoms before implementing a hydration plan. Untreated dehydration has many significant health risks. If staying hydrated is difficult for you, drink on a schedule. For example, make an effort to drink water when you wake up, after every meal, and when you go to bed. You could also try drinking a small glass of water each hour instead. Keep a bottle of water with you throughout the day and make conscious decisions when choosing foods and fluids. Water is of course best for staying hydrated, but other drinks and foods help too. Water is essential for life, which is why all of us should aim to maintain ideal levels of hydration. In the following module, we'll be looking at maintaining a balanced diet plan, using the Eat Well guide as a frame of reference. Module 4. Maintaining a balanced diet with the Eat Well guide. It is sometimes difficult to know whether we are making healthy choices when it comes to nutrition, particularly when it comes to the different food groups and relevant portion sizes. No food group should be avoided or excluded completely, as this limits the variety of key nutrients that we receive and may lead to malnutrition, something that will be discussed in our following module. A healthy diet means we eat a variety of food from each of the different food groups and in the right amount. To better understand the food groups and how to incorporate them into our diet, we turn to the Eat Well guide. The Eat Well guide breaks the food and liquids we consume into the following groups: fruits and vegetables, potatoes, bread, rice, pasta and other starchy carbohydrates, beans, pulses, fish, eggs, meat and other proteins, dairy and alternatives, oils and spreads. The guide demonstrates the different types of foods and nutrients we should consume and in what amounts. We'll now be discussing each one in turn. The carbohydrate and fruit and vegetables group are the largest segments in the Eat Well guide, meaning the majority of our food should be coming from these groups. Fruits and vegetables are good sources of vitamins, minerals and fibre, and we should aim for 5 portions a day, whether in fresh, frozen, canned, dried or juiced form. A portion is roughly 80 grams, equivalent to a fruit such as an apple, pear, banana or orange, 3 tablespoons of vegetables, a heaped tablespoon of dried fruit or a small glass of fruit juice. Carbohydrates should make up just over a third of our daily diet. They are important sources of nutrients, energy and fibre. They give us the energy we need and are rich in vitamins, minerals and fibre. It is best to choose whole grain options as they are higher in fibre and are digested more slowly, preventing sugar spikes and keeping you fuller for longer. The third group in the Eat Well guide includes proteins like chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans, tofu, nuts, oily fishes such as salmon and fresh tuna, eggs, chicken, turkey and red meat, though this should be eaten less frequently as it is high in saturated fat. Proteins are important for the growth and repair of our bodies, but only 1/6 of our daily diet should be made up of these foods. The fourth group includes dairy foods such as milk, cheese, cottage cheese and yogurt, and are high in calcium, vitamins and minerals. When choosing dairy products, make sure to stick to lower fat and sugar options. The fifth group, oils and spreads, is the smallest section of the Eat Well guide, but it's important as we do still need some fats in our daily diet to stay healthy. It is important to choose unsaturated fats as much as possible, such as fish, nuts, avocados and vegetable oils. Eating too many saturated fats such as cakes, chocolate, butter, cream and other fast foods is bad for our hearts, so it is best to keep these at a minimum. Knowing the facts about nutrition makes it easier to maintain a balanced diet plan. Making poor dietary choices means we may not be getting the right nutrients in our diet, and this often leads to malnutrition. Malnutrition will be discussed in the following module, along with an overview of the Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool, otherwise known as MUST. Module 5. Malnutrition and the Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool, MUST. In this, our last module, we will be looking at how an unbalanced diet may lead to malnutrition and how the Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool, known as MUST, can help identify those at risk of malnutrition. Malnutrition may result from a poor or unbalanced diet, or when our body is unable to properly absorb nutrients from our food as a result of medical conditions such as Crohn's disease. Essentially, malnutrition is a state of unbalanced nutrition and does not only refer to undernutrition, it may also refer to overnutrition when our bodies have an excess of energy or nutrients. If left untreated, malnutrition can have severe consequences. The Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool was thus developed so as to identify adults who are at particular risk. This screening tool is used in hospitals and other care facilities and may be carried out by all care workers or healthcare professionals. The MUST screening tool is comprised of 5 steps. The first step includes determining a BMI score, which can be done by taking weight in kilograms and dividing it by height in meters squared, or by using a BMI chart. The BMI score is used to determine the MUST score for step 1. If BMI is greater than 20, the corresponding MUST score is 0. If BMI is between 18.5 and 20, it's an MUST score of 1. And if the BMI is less than 18.5, the MUST score is 2. Step 2 of the MUST screening tool includes noting the percentage unplanned weight loss in the past 3 to 6 months. Weight loss is calculated as a percentage of body weight, and this is used to determine the MUST unplanned weight score. Less than 5% weight loss is an MUST score of 0. A 5 to 10% weight loss is an MUST score of 1. And more than 10% weight loss equals an MUST score of 2. Step 3 is calculating the acute disease effect score, most likely to only apply to those in hospital or care settings. Acute disease effect refers to those who are nutritionally ill and have not had any nutrients for more than 5 days. In these cases, an MUST score of 2 is added. Step 4 includes adding the scores from the first 3 steps to determine the overall risk of malnutrition. An MUST score of 0 means low risk, a score of 1 is medium risk, and a score of 2 or more corresponds to a high risk of malnutrition. The 5th and final step of the MUST screening tool includes using management guidelines to develop a malnutrition care plan. Routine clinical care, observation and treatment may be implemented dependent on the level of risk. For those at medium or high risk, some sort of intervention is generally required unless nutritional support is expected to be detrimental or have no benefit to the person's health. The care plan is complex, but essentially involves setting individual aims and objectives, treating any underlying conditions, treating malnutrition with food, liquid or artificial supplements, monitoring and reviewing the care plan, and continually reassessing nutritional risk. To lead a healthy lifestyle and prevent reaching a high risk level of malnutrition, it is important to properly manage nutrition and hydration. Eating a balanced diet and getting all the essential nutrients in is key, as is knowing the basics behind nutrition and making more informed decisions about the food we eat. Prioritise your health. Prevention is always better than cure. What this course has covered: an introduction to the terms nutrition, nutrients and diet, a discussion on macronutrients and micronutrients, including the 7 essential nutrients we need in our diet, a look at the importance of water and hydration, as well as how to avoid dehydration, tips on maintaining a balanced diet and avoiding malnutrition with reference to the Eat Well guide, nutrition and how the Malnutrition Universal Screening Tool, MUST, helps identify those at risk.